students, today we will continue the first year NEET synopsis on the chapter number 20. Chapter 20. Chapter name is Locomotions and Movements. Locomotion and movements. Very important topic. Minimum at least one question will appear in competitive exams, and also most complicated lesson for understanding the synopsis of this lesson, locomotion and movements. Now the introduction of this lesson, locomotion and movements lesson. Here the movements are the most important significant role of living organisms. Most important to significant features of living organisms. Movements are the most important significant features of all living organisms, in which both plants and animals shows the movements. Both plants and animals shows the movement, exhibit the movement, because both plants and animals are the living forms. Already I was told to you, movements are the most significant features of all living organisms. Only living organisms shows the movement and locomotions. But here, one simple doubt arising question. Is it non-living things, non-living organisms shows the movement? Yes. They may also exhibit the movement. They may also shows the movement. But one difference is, they may use the external force for their movement, for their locomotion. Non-living things may also shows the movement, may also shows the locomotion by applying external energy, by applying external force. For example, duster is the non-living thing. Now this duster, one type of a non-living thing, abiotic component. Now this abiotic component shows the movement from one place to another place, shows the locomotion from one place to another place by applying our external energy on that body. But the living organisms, living things shows the locomotion and movement by using their own kind of metabolic energy. That is the major difference of locomotion and movements in non-living things and living things, living organisms. So, you should remember one important information. Living organisms and non-living things, so both of them shows movement. But living organisms shows the movement by using their own internal energy, own metabolic energy, while the non-living things also shows the movement by using external energy, external force. So, here the living organisms shows the movement and locomotions. Here both plants and animals shows the movements. But here one wonderful information is it plant shows the movement? Is it plants who shows the movements? Yes. Plants may also shows the movements. For example, movement of branches, plant branches, movement of leaves, and also movement of organic solutes from one tissues to another tissue, one part to the another part. Simple example, ascent of sap. That is upward movement of water and minerals from roots to all aerial parts of plant body against the gravitational force of Earth. That means from roots to aerial parts of plant body, water molecules, mineral solutes shows the movement. That is one kind of movement. While the translocation of food molecules, transportation of food molecules from the region of synthesis to the region of utilization through phloem tissue, through sieve tubes of the phloem tissue, one type of movement, internal movement. And also the movement of water molecules from one cell to the other cell, one kind of movement. One kind of movement. So these are all the proofs or evidences. Plants may also shows the movements. Why? In animals, especially in the unicellular organisms, unicellular forms like in amoeba, in unicellular organisms, like in amoeba, movement takes place, locomotion takes place by the streaming of protoplasm. By the streaming of protoplasm. That means in amoeba, the protoplasm shows streaming. Streaming means cyclic rotation. The cyclic movement of protoplasm. The cyclic rotation of protoplasm, the cyclic streaming of protoplasm, important, is called cyclosis. You should remember this point. Cyclosis is nothing but cyclic movement of protoplasm, streaming of protoplasm in the living cell is called cyclosis. As a result of cyclosis, as a result of streaming movement of protoplasm inside the body to generate pseudopodia, to create pseudopodia. By the help of pseudopodia, amoeba organism, amoeba unicellular form shows the movement from one place to another place. Why? In paramecium, that is also a type of protozoan. Unicellular form, no protozoan form. Here, cilia helps in movement food through, very important, cytopage. This is the part of cytopage. Here, by the cilia, the action of paramecium, food is captured and shows the movement through the cytopage, and also the locomotion of entire paramecium body from one place to another place. So, in the paramecium, cilia helps in movement of food through cytopage and entire locomotion of body. Whereas in Hydra, tentacles helps in capturing of food. In Hydra organism, tentacles responsible for capturing of food and locomotion of body. Locomotion of animal body from one place to another place. These are all the different types of locomotor structures in lower forms, in lower organisms. So, based on study of all these examples, you should remember this point. Based on study of all these examples, there is no separate study of locomotion and movements. You should remember this point. Based on study of all these examples, so all these evidences, so there is no need for the study of separate locomotion and movements. That is, they may link in both locomotion and movements linked by starting. You should remember this point. Movements and locomotion are linked by starting that all locomotions are the movements, but all movements not locomotions. You should remember this point. All movements are the locomotions. All movements are the locomotions, but all movements not locomotions. Very important statement. You should remember this point. All movements are the locomotions, but all movements are not locomotions. Example for this statement. This personification sentences. You should remember this point. Now, my four limbs. Our hands shows movements. This movement is also one type of locomotion. And our tongue shows the movement by the help of striated muscles. Our jaws shows the movement, opening and closing. Our eyelids shows the movement, opening and closing of eyeball. That is meaning for all movements are the locomotions. But all movements never locomotions. Nothing but here the movement of limbs shows the entire body replacing from one place to the other place. So all movements are the locomotions, but all movements are not locomotions. In which the methods of movements and methods of locomotions in animals depending upon, saying the methods of locomotions or methods of movements in animals should be varied, should be different. That is depending upon nature of habitat. You should remember this point. The methods of locomotion and movements in animals should be varied, should be different. That is depending upon nature of habitat and demanding situation. That is food, shelter, mating, place for breeding, nothing but place for reproduction, climatic factors, climatic situations, climatic factors, and also escaping from their enemies. You should remember. Yeah, all organisms, all animals never shows same method of movement and same method of locomotions. That should be different. That should be varied. That is depending upon nature of habitat. For example, in a position, in A area, it is near, in A habitat, the environmental factors will be stressful. Stressful climatic factors, environmental factors, hazard environmental factors. So the organisms which are present in this habitat shows migration to the suitable habitat. To the suitable habitat. Condition of suitable habitat. So some organisms shows the locomotion, shows the movement from stressful habitat to a healthy habitat, suitable habitat. That is meaning for the migration. So yeah, the locomotion and movement of body is depending upon nature of habitat. One simple example, lizard animal. In summer season, due to high temperature, due to more environmental temperature, the lizard animal move to the shaded area, move to the shaded places. While in winter season, in cold climatic habitat, the lizard animal may bask their skin, BASK, may bask their skin in the sunlight because of maintenance of body heat, maintenance of body temperature. Means your lizards belong to the reptilia, class reptilia, that is one type of reptile. Reptiles are the cold-blooded organisms. In cold-blooded organisms, internal body temperature depending upon the external environmental temperature. So that is one type of habitat, one type of factor to maintain the locomotion and movements. So the animals, the method of movements in different types of animals should be vary. That is depending upon nature of habitat and demanding situations like food, shelter, mating, breeding places, suitable place for reproduction place or breeding place, or climatic factors, or escaping from their predators, from their enemies, predators. Means, for example, cheetah animal may chase hunt the deer animal. Yeah, cheetah and deer prey and predators. Prey is the deer, predator is the cheetah, enemy is the cheetah. So from the cheetah, from the enemy, from the predator, deer animal shows the fast running movement, because it should be saved their life from their enemy of the cheetah. These are all the different situations, different demanding situations for the locomotion of different animals. So based on from all these aspects, movements are classified into three types. Means in the types of movements involved by three different structures, basically three different structures, like ciliary movement, amoeboid movement, ciliary movement, and muscular movement. So from all these aspects, movements are classified into three types, like amoeboid movement, ciliary movement, and muscular movements. You should remember this statement. The amoeboid movement seen in unicellular organisms and also multicellular forms. multicellular organisms. In unicellular organisms, example in amoeba. In amoeba, movement to locomotion takes place by cyclosis of protoplasm. Cyclosis of their protoplasm. While in higher organisms including man, movement of macrophages and leukocytes inside the blood vessels, within the blood vessels, shows amoeboid movement. It is affected by streaming of protoplasm, cytosis of protoplasm, by the formation of pseudopodia. So, you should remember this statement. Amoeboid movement seen in unicellular organisms and multicellular forms. Multicellular organisms. Example of unicellular body, amoeba. Example of multicellular body. Examples of multicellular body structures are macrophages. That is one type of cell in areolar connective tissue meant for maintenance of body immunity through phagocytosis. And different types of WBC cells, leukocytes, may also shows the movement within the blood vessels, so inside the blood vessels, so by the formation of pseudopodia with the help of streaming of protoplasm. Such kind of movement is called amoeboid movement. Example, amoeba, macrophages, leukocytes, etc. etc. While ciliary movement also seen in both unicellular forms and multicellular organisms. In unicellular organisms, example in Paramecium, movement or locomotion takes place by the help of ciliary action, by the help of cilia. While in multicellular forms, listen here, all our internal tubular parts, all our internal tubular structures, internal tubular parts, lined by, covered by ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium that is responsible for movement of body requirements. For example, ciliary movement in our body, in higher animals including man, in our body, trachea, tracheal tube, bronchi. In respiratory system, trachea, bronchi and bronchioles internally lined by ciliated epithelial tissue. Ciliated epithelium. Yeah, the ciliated epithelium present in the respiratory tract, responsible for to flush out nothing but to rejected out dust particles and pathogens during inspiration. You should remember this statement. Enter respiratory tract like trachea, bronchi and bronchioles in human beings, in higher animals including man, lined by ciliated epithelial tissue. It is responsible for to flush out, to reject it outside, to flush out the dust and pathogens during inspiration. That's why important. Nasal respiration is better than buccal respiration. We use EAL. Buccal respiration means mouth respiration. So, your nose respiration, nasal respiration is more better than that of mouth respiration, buccal respiration, because of presence of barrier. This is one type of physical barrier. Ciliated epithelial tissue, cilia of nose, trachea, tracheoles, bronchioles, bronchi, etc. to reject it out, to flush out dust particles and pathogens during inspiration. And another example, in females, fallopian tube. In female reproductive system, fallopian tube internally lined by ciliated epithelial tissue. In the female reproductive system, fallopian tube or oviduct internally covered by ciliated epithelial tissue. It is responsible for, it helps in movement of transportation of egg from infundibulum to the upper part of fallopian tube. Isthmus of the fallopian tube. Isthmus is the upper part, ampulla is the middle part, and infundibulum is the lower part. Yeah, the lower part of the infundibulum of the fallopian tube closely contact to the ovary by the help of finger-like projections called fimbriae. So, as soon as ovulation, rupturing of Graafian follicle under the influence of LH hormone on 14th day of the menstruation cycle, 14th day of the monthly cycle, release the egg or ovum. It is received by fimbriae into the infundibulum of the fallopian tube. Yeah, the inner lining of fallopian tube covered by ciliated epithelial tissue. So, by the help of ciliary action, the egg shows movement from lower end to the upper end. That is called ciliary movement, and also proof and examples of ciliary movement. And last one is the muscular movement. These kind of movements, muscular movements, takes place by the help of different types of muscular tissues, different types of muscles, different types of muscular tissues, like smooth muscles, so striated muscles, so cardiac muscles. For example, the movement of body limbs. Movement of body limbs. Jaws, tongue, neck, etc. body parts takes place by the help of different muscular tissues, different types of muscles. Such movements are called muscular movements. Very important. So, in man, all kinds of movements are there. All different types of movements are there. Example, amoeboid movement exhibited by macrophages on different types of leukocytes. Ciliary movement exhibited by tubular structures, so tubular internal structures of our body, like respiratory tract and oviducts of the female reproductive system. While the muscular movement takes place by the help of different types of muscular tissues, different types of muscle tissues, like movement of limbs, or movement of jaws, or movement of tongue, or movement of eyelids, or movement of entire body from one place to another place by the help of muscles or muscular tissues. These are all the different types of movements, like amoeboid movements, ciliary movements, and muscular movements. But in our topic, the major type of movement, very important and major type of movement is the muscular movement. It takes place by the help of different types of muscular tissues, different types of muscles or muscular tissues. Now, let us, we are going to studying brief account of different types of muscles in the man body, in the human body. That is, yeah, there are three different types of muscles. There are three different types of muscular tissues, like smooth muscles, striated muscles, striated muscles and cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles. Listen here. Now I will be giving brief account of smooth cardiac and striated muscles based on shape, location, structure, etc. etc. See, on the basis of shape, based on shape, their character is based on shape. Character is based on shape. A smooth muscles, no, spindle shape. Spindle shape. That is nothing but middle broad, ends are tapering, ends are narrow. Striated muscles are cylindrical in shape. Cylindrical shape in the form of tubes. In the form of tubes, like this. Striated muscles are cylindrical in shape, while cardiac muscles shows the cylindrical shape but a branch. Very important. A cardiac muscles are the cylindrical muscles, cylindrical shaped muscles, but they are branched. So, yeah, striated muscles are the branched striated muscles. You should remember this statement. Striated muscles are cylindrical but unbranched, while the cardiac muscles are the cylindrical shape but branched. So, branched striated muscles are the cardiac muscles. That is the first character on the basis of shape, and based on nature of location, means they are presenting which part of the body. Actually, spindle shaped muscles, smooth muscles presenting visceral organs like wall of the alimentary canal, wall of the blood vessels, wall of the digestive tract, alimentary canal, etc. made by smooth muscles. Hence, they are also called visceral muscles. You should remember this statement. Alimentary canal, blood vessels, otherwise called visceral organs. So, the smooth muscles are also called visceral muscles. Because for their location. While the striated muscles associated to the binds to the skeletal tissue. Skeletal tissue means bone tissue. Very important. Be listen here. The striated muscles closely associated to the bone tissue, skeletal tissue. Hence, they are also called skeletal muscles. Very important. Except our tongue muscles. See, tongue muscles are the striated muscles, but never supported by bone tissue, osseous tissue. So, other than tongue striated muscles, all striated muscles are closely associated to attached to the bone tissue, skeletal tissue. Hence, the striated muscles are also called skeletal muscles. But the tongue muscles are the striated muscles, but non-skeletal muscles, because they are never supported by skeletal tissue, bone tissue. While the cardiac muscles presenting heart valve, since the name is cardiac muscles. Cardiology, study of heart. Cardiologist, a person who specializes in circulatory system, heart specialist, called as cardiologist. So, cardia, nothing but the heart. So, based on this factor, such kind of muscles named as cardiac muscles. That is the characteristic feature of three different types of muscles. So based on location, And next one is the nature of sarcolemma. Sarcolemma. Here, meaning for sarcolemma is the membrane of, say, membrane of muscular tissue, membrane of muscle cell, plasma membrane of a muscle cell is called sarcolemma. Sarcolemma. Cytoplasm is called sarcoplasm. Sarcoplasm. So the nature of sarcolemma, nature of plasma membrane in smooth muscles, so thin in nature. That means soft in nature. In skeletal muscles, so thick in nature. Whereas in cardiac muscles, so thick in nature. So the nature of plasma membrane, nature of sarcolemma in smooth muscles thin, delicaous in nature, that is soft in nature. Striated muscles, so thick in nature, whereas in cardiac muscles, so thick in nature. And on the basis of number of nuclei, number of nucleus or nuclei, nucleus or nuclei. Say, in smooth muscles, so uninucleate, nothing but the presence of single nucleus. Yeah, multinucleate, many nuclei, very important. Striated muscle fiber, striated muscle containing many nuclei, more than 2 nuclei in the common cytoplasm, in the common sarcoplasm, very important. Hence, the striated muscles are also called senocytic muscles. Senocytic muscles because of multinucleated condition. For example, in kingdom Mycota, there are two mycelia there. Aseptate mycelium and septate mycelium. In aseptate mycelium, septa is absent, crossband is absent. Whenever crossband is absent, the common cytoplasm contains many nuclei, more nuclei. That condition is called senocytic mycelium. Senocytic mycelium, it is found in lower fungal forms like class Zygomycotina and class Phygomycotina. Class Phygomycetso and class Zygomycetso. Now mycelium is the primitive mycelium, old mycelium because of senocytic condition. Like that, in striated muscles, due to presence of many nuclei in the common cytoplasm, they are also called senocytic muscles. So are syncytic, syncytic, syncytic muscles. And in the cardiac muscles, so presence of single nucleus, uninucleate. That is the character of number of nucleus or number of nuclei. And the next character is position of nucleus. In striated muscles, nucleus present at the center of muscle cell. At the center. Listen here. This is smooth muscle, visceral muscle. Here each sarcoplasm of the visceral muscle, smooth muscle containing single nucleus at the center of sarcoplasm. Whereas in striated muscles, nuclei, many nuclei lying, present in peripheral, nothing but marginal position. Listen here, these are the nuclei. In striated muscles, so nucleus or nuclei never lie at the center of sarcoplasm. They are present towards to the margins. Towards to the margins nothing but towards to the sarcolemma, towards to the plasma membrane. Whereas in cardiac muscles, nucleus present in the center of the sarcoplasm. Center of sarcoplasm. And next character is nature of myofibrils. Nature of myofibrils. Listen here. Here myofibrils nothing but in the sarcoplasm there are numerous thin parallelly arranged thread-like structures called myofibrils. Myofibrils are also called contractile fibrils because the contraction and relaxation of these myofibrils responsible for locomotion or movement. So, in smooth muscles, the myofibrils does not shows dark and light bands, means absence of striations or strips or dark and light bands. Very important. Hence, the smooth muscles are also called non-striated muscles. Non-striated muscles are unstripped muscles. You should remember this statement. Here, the myofibrils does not show alternative dark and light bands, anisotropic and isotropic bands. Hence, they are also called non-striated muscles or unstripped muscles. While in striated muscles, myofibril shows alternative dark and light bands. Dark band and light bands are strips, STRIPS, or striations. Strips or striations. Hence, they are named as striated muscles or stripped muscles. You have the brains of alternative dark and light bands like this. The striated muscles are also called stripped muscles or striated muscles. Whereas in cardiac muscles, also presence of alternative dark and light bands. Nothing but here also myofibril shows alternative dark and light bands. Hence, they are also commonly called stripped muscles. So, but branched stripped muscles very important. They are similar to their shape similar to the striated muscles, but cells are branched. Shows the strips means here presence of alternative dark and light bands. And next one is the next character is their action means function is involuntary means the function of smooth muscles and stripped muscles does not under the control of our willpower, our central nervous system. So they are called involuntary muscles, also called involuntary muscles. Why? The function of striated muscles is the voluntary. Hence, they are also called voluntary muscles. Why? The function of cardiac muscles is involuntary. Hence, cardiac muscles are also type of involuntary muscles. You should remember. On the basis of function, based on function, cardiac muscles and smooth muscles are similar. Cardiac muscles and smooth muscles are similar because both of them are involuntary in their action, involuntary in function. While striated muscles are the voluntary muscles because their function under the control of central nervous system, our willpower. And important to intercalated disc, INTERCALATED DISC, intercalated disc, very important, absent in smooth muscles. Intercalated disc, absent in smooth muscles. Also absent in striated muscles, but present in cardiac muscles. Intercalated disc absent in first two muscles, in smooth muscles, so striated muscles, so intercalated disc is absent, but it is only present in cardiac muscles. Example, listen here. This is the cardiac muscle, branched cylindrical muscle at every branching of cardiac muscle. There is a dark region, a dark transverse band. You should remember, at every branching of cardiac muscle. Say, zone portion, zone diagram. This is the branching of cardiac muscle. At every branching of cylindrical cardiac muscle, there is a transverse region, transverse band called intercalated disc. Only present in cardiac muscles, but it is absent in striated and smooth muscles. Very, very important. So, main unique feature of cardiac muscle is presence of intercalated disc. Presence of intercalated disc, nothing but that should be cardiac muscle because it is absent in striated muscles and smooth muscles. These are all the important characteristic features, important highlights of three different types of muscles like smooth muscle, striated muscle and cardiac muscle. Very, very important. Listen here. Branched, striated muscles are the cardiac muscles. Syncytic muscles, sinusoidal muscles are the striated muscles. Uninucleated, spindle-shaped muscles are the smooth muscles. Visceral muscles, skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles. These are all the important highlights of three different types of muscular tissues. Three different types of muscle cells, muscular tissues like smooth muscle, striated muscle and cardiac muscle. But among these three different types of muscles, out of these three different types of muscles, very important, the most and abundant muscles are maximum percentage of muscles are striated muscles. The most important maximum muscles are the striated muscles, stripped muscles, voluntary muscles. Very important. Now we are going to study the ultra structure and details of striated muscles. Here, striated muscles, skeletal muscle, for example, this is our forelimb, our hand. This hand region made up of bundle of striated muscle, skeletal muscle. Listen here. Each skeletal muscle made up of large number of bundle cells, large number of muscle cells, large number of muscle cells are important fascicles. Say each skeletal muscle made up of large number of muscle bundles, muscle cells called fascicles. F-A-S-A-C-L-E-S, fascicles. And these fascicles are covered by a non-collagenous tissue. Listen here. Bundle of fascicles are covered by a large collagenous connective tissue layer. This is one enlarged, listen here, muscle cell, fascicle. Yeah, the combination of all these muscle cells, all these fascicles to form a skeletal muscle, striated muscle. So, here the bundle of fascicles, muscle cells covered by a non-collagenous connective tissue layer called fascia, F-A-S-I-A, fascia. So, you should remember one skeletal tissue. Each skeletal tissue made up of large number of muscle bundles, large number of muscle cells or fascicles covered by a non-collagenous connective tissue layer called fascia. And each of skeletal muscle fiber, each skeletal muscle fiber lined by, covered by a thick sarcolemma, a thick sarcoplasm. Sarcolemma means the plasma membrane of muscular tissue is called sarcolemma, but it is thick in nature. It is thick in nature. Below the sarcolemma is the abundant sarcoplasm. Large amount of sarcoplasm. Within the sarcoplasm, many nuclei, more nuclei lies towards peripheral region, present towards marginal region, marginal side. And in the sarcoplasm, very important, more number of endoplasmic reticulum, that is one type of cell organelle. You should remember this statement. In the sarcolemma, in the sarcoplasm, there are many endoplasmic reticulum cell organelles called sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum. Their function is very important. It helps in storage of calcium salt, storage of calcium ion, because here the calcium ion, calcium salt, so responsible for contraction and relaxation of muscle cells. Now, this topic we are going to study in mechanism of muscle contraction or muscle relaxation. So, contraction and relaxation of muscular tissue takes place by the help of calcium salts. Never magnesium, never sodium, or never potassium. You should remember this statement. In animals, calcium salts responsible for contraction and relaxation of muscle cells. While magnesium salt helps in replication of DNA replication, protein synthesis. In plants, formation of chlorophyll pigment, synthesis of chlorophyll pigment. While the sodium salts responsible for translocation of organic solutes, while potassium salt in the plant body responsible for opening and closing of stomata. Very important. Already we have studied in mineral nutrients topic, mineral nutrients lesson, macronutrients and micronutrients. So you should remember the endoplasmic reticulum of striated muscle cells are the storehouse of calcium salts. Hence, it is also called sarcoplasmic reticulatum. You should remember. So within the sarcoplasm, more nuclei, many nuclei lies towards to the marginal sites, present towards to the marginal region, and large number of endoplasmic reticulum called sarcoplasmic reticulum helps in storage of calcium salts. And in addition to all these cell organs, very important, there are numerous parallelly arranged fibrils called myofibrils. Myofibrils. You should remember in the sarcoplasm there are numerous parallelly arranged fibers called myofibrils. Myofibrils. They exhibit alternative dark and light bands. Myofibrils shows alternative dark and light bands. Dark and light bands. Here, the dark band is also called A band. Means anisotropic band. Dark band also called A band, anisotropic band. While the light band is also called I band, means isotropic band. Isotropic band. Here both anisotropic and isotropic band deposited by contractile proteins. Very, very important. Deposited by contractile proteins like actin and myosin. Actin and myosin are the two different types of contractile proteins. Very important. Here, I band means light band, means isotropic band only deposited by actin, while dark band, anisotropic band, A band deposited by both actin and myosin. You should remember I band, light band, isotropic band made up of only actin protein, while the dark band, A band, anisotropic band made by both actin and myosin proteins. Both actin and myosin proteins. These actin and myosin proteins get arranged in parallel manner, parallel to each other like this. Actin fiber, myosin fiber arranged in parallel manner, and also along the axis of muscle fibers. They are responsible for contraction and relaxation of muscular tissue, contraction and relaxation of muscle cells. You should remember actin and myosin proteins get arranged in parallel manner and also along the length of muscular tissue, muscle tissue responsible for contraction and relaxation of muscle fiber, contraction and relaxation of muscular tissue. Now, very important, in the center of I band, at the center of I band, there is a elastic membrane at the center of light band I band. There is an elastic membrane called Z-line or membrane of Krause. Membrane of Krause, Krause. You should remember this statement. At the center of light band, isotropic band, I band, there is an elastic membrane called Z-line or membrane of Krause. Membrane of Krause. Why? At the center of dark band, at the center of dark band is the thin line called H band or H line. H band or H line. Here Hensen's, H-E-N-S-E-N-S, Hensen's line, Hensen's band. H stands for scientist name Hensen's or M line. M line. You should remember this statement clearly. For example, this is one lengthy striated muscle fiber. In this striated muscle fiber, there is an alternative dark and light bands. Alternative dark and light bands. For example, this is alternative dark and light bands. Alternative dark and light bands. You should remember from here to here is the I band. I band. Now this is I band. This is A band. Anisotropic band or dark band. This is I band, isotropic band. This is A band, and this is I band, isotropic band. So this area is the I band, and this area is the A band or dark band. I band, A band, dark band, A band, etc., etc. Alternatively get arranged on the surface of striated muscle fibers. Striated myofibrils. While at the center of I band is the thin elastic membrane. Listen here. This is I band. At the center of I band is the thin elastic membrane called Z-line or membrane of Krause. Membrane of Krause, K-A-U-R-S-E, at the center of I band. While at the center of A band is the thin layer called H zone, H band, Hensen's band, are also called M line, myosin line, M line. And next one is the I band. At the center of I band is the Z line. Then next one is the H band. In A band, H band or M line, and next to I band at its center is the one more Z line. So you should remember, on the surface of myofibrils, there are alternative dark and light bands. A band, I band, anisotropic band, anisotropic band. At the center of isotropic band is the thin elastic layer called Z-line or membrane of Krauss. While at the center of anisotropic band is the thin layer called H band or M line. H band or M line. So, I band containing means light band contain. Isotropic band contain membrane of Krauss or Z-line. While the dark band, anisotropic band containing H line, M line or H band. Very important. The distance between the space present between two Z lines is called sarcomere. Very important. The sarcomere nothing but the space present between two Z lines. The space present between two Z lines is called sarcomere. But sarcomere never present between two M lines or two H bands or in between Z line and M line. Wrong options. One wrong option is the sarcomere present between, wrong option. Sarcomere present between H band and I band. Next wrong answer. Z line and M line. Next wrong answer. M line and M line. Last answer. Z line and Z line. So correct option is the Z line and Z line. So the space present between, distance present between two Z lines is called sarcomere. It is also called structural and functional unit of contractile tissue. Very important. Sarcomere is also called structural and functional unit of contractile tissue. This is because, listen here, the distance, the area of the sarcomere, the space of the sarcomere judges the contraction and relaxation of muscular tissue. That means whenever the space of sarcomere is decreases, nothing but whenever two Z lines move inward, decrease the area of sarcomere, and as a result, muscle cell leads to contraction. Why? The area of sarcomere, that is the two Z lines, move away to each other. This results in relaxation of muscular tissue, relaxation of muscle cell. So you should remember, the sarcomere area decreases, the two Z lines come close to each other, muscle cell results in contraction. Why? The sarcomere, the space of sarcomere, area of the sarcomere increases. The two Z lines move away to each other, and results muscle cell becomes relaxation. That's why the sarcomere, commonly called structural and functional units of muscular tissue, contractile tissue, is the detailed structure of striated muscle, stripped muscle, voluntary muscle, synosthetic muscle or synthetic muscle, different terms of the, and also structure of the striated muscle. But the ultrastructure of sarcomere is the detailed ultrastructure of sarcomere is. Listen here. Sarcomere is the space present between two cell lines. The space present between two membrane of cords is the sarcomere. Structurally, each sarcomere made up of two myofibrils. Each sarcomere made up of two myofibrils like primary myofilament and secondary myofilament. You should remember this statement. Each sarcomere made up of two myofilaments, like primary and secondary myofilaments. Yeah, the primary myofilament is thick in nature. You should remember, the primary myofilament is thick in nature and made up of a protein called myosin. So, primary myofilament of the sarcomere made up of, thick in nature, made up of, deposited by a protein called myosin. It is one type of macroprotein, macromolecule. This myosin macromolecule protein made up of many monomeric units, monomeric proteins, microproteins called meromyosin. You should remember, primary myosin filament is thick in nature, deposited by an abundant macroprotein called myosin. It is the polymer of microunits called meromyosins. Yeah, this meromyosin arranged in three parts. Meromyosin, protein of the myosin filament, primary myofibril filament, arranged in three parts, like globular head, arm or neck, and tail, elongated tail. Listen here. For example, now this is the primary myofilament. Now, in this primary myofilament, the myosin macroprotein, made up of many monomeric or simple proteins, simple units called meromyosins. Now, these meromyosin proteins, microproteins, get arranged in three parts, like globular head. Now, this is the globular head portion. Head, short arm or neck, and tail. And tail. You should remember the meromyosin protein, simple protein, arranged in three parts. Like globular head, arm or neck, and elongated tail. Very important. In the globular head, there is abundant or large amount of meromyosin called HMM, heavy meromyosin. You should remember this point. The globular head region contains abundant or large amount of densely deposition of meromyosin called heavy meromyosin. Nothing but globular head made up of heavy meromyosin. Why? The arm or neck and the tail, elongated tail, made up of less amount of meromyosin. Called light meromyosin, LMM. You should remember this statement. Arm or neck and tail region deposited by less amount of meromyosin called light meromyosin, while only globular head contain large amount of heavy amount of meromyosin called HMM, heavy meromyosin. Important. In the globular head region, there are two parts like actin binding sites. Now, these are the actin binding sites and ATP synthetase site. Most important, number of time appear question, NEET examination question. On globular head region, there are two important parts. There are two important sites like actin binding sites and ATP synthetase sites. These are responsible for, listen here, contraction and relaxation of muscular tissue, myofibril tissue or actin fibril tissue during muscle contraction. So, how the ATP synthetase and actin binding site helps in contraction or relaxation? This topic we are going to study in contraction and relaxation of muscular tissue, mechanism of contraction of muscle tissue. So, these are all the details of primary myofilament. So, you should remember the primary myofilament only made up of actin protein. So, it is also called actin filament. Sorry, only made up of myosin protein. Hence, it is also called myofilament. Myosin protein. Meromyosin, heavy meromyosin, and light meromyosin. Important diagrammatic representation. And next to the primary myofilament, second part of sarcomere is the secondary myofilament. Here, the secondary myofilament is thin in nature. It is thin in nature and deposited by F-actin protein. Here F stands for filamentous actin protein. You should remember secondary myofilament thin in nature, made up of F-actin protein, filamentous actin protein, along with, very important, two regulatory proteins like tropomyosin and troponin. are the three types of proteins so present in the secondary myofilament. So you should remember the secondary myofilament is thin in nature, deposited by F-actin protein, filamentous actin protein, along with tropomyosin and troponin. These are the two regulatory proteins, means responsible for controlling regulation of contraction and relaxation of muscle tissue, muscular tissue, are the different types of proteins so present in the secondary myofilament. So, in the secondary myofilament, two tropomyosin proteins get twisted like that of twisted rope. See, this is the F-actin filament. Now, present writing diagram is the F-actin or filamentous protein. Here, the tropomyosin protein run along two tropomyosin filaments run along axis of F-actin. No, these are the tropomyosin filaments. Tropomyosin filaments. So you should remember secondary myosin filament made up of F-actin protein, filamentous actin protein. On the F-actin protein, two tropomyosin filaments twisted along the length of F-actin protein, means along the entire length of F-actin filament, two tropomyosin filaments get twisted through axis of the F-actin filament like that of twisted rope. I could hope you should understand the meaning of this explanation. So, listen here. This is the F-actin filament. And this is the tropomyosin filament. So, along the surface along the axis of F-actin filament, two types of tropomyosin filaments twisted like that of twisted rope. And at certain regular intervals, you should remember, at the certain regular intervals, there is a deposition of regulatory protein, another regulatory protein called troponin. Another regulatory protein called troponin. You should remember, secondary myofilament is thin in nature, made up of filamentous actin protein. Along the length of axis of filamentous actin protein, there are two tropomyosin proteins twisted like that of twisted rope. And at certain regular intervals of tropomyosin. Never on the actin filament, F actin filament, only on the surface of tropomyosin filament at certain regular intervals. So there is deposition of troponin protein, regulatory protein, troponin protein. You should remember this statement.